So they're gonna give an update at 12 p.m. 12 p.m. update. The Kentucky Governor, Amy Beshear, Kentucky State Police, local officials will be here at 12 p.m. Here at the community center in London, Kentucky, and you're gonna hear more updates on the manhunt. So hopefully we can provide more answers and understanding. We are into the second week of this manhunt. Where is Joseph Couch?
Yeah, the told me everything was up here. Yeah, you guys are back. All right, we ready? You need a sound check? Good, on the audio? All right. 11 days ago, an act of violence and evil occurred where an individual believed to be Joseph Couch opened fire on Interstate 75 with the intent to kill as many people as possible. But evil did not prevail that day because our incredible local dispatchers and first responders rushed to the scene, transporting 5 individuals to local hospitals. There, our healthcare heroes took action and they saved lives. By the grace of God and the skilled response of so many, Joseph Couch failed and no one was killed in this incident. Immediately after the shooting, local and state law enforcement, along with emergency, intelligence, and other agencies, surged to the scene and began a manhunt. The command post was quickly established on the eastern side of the interstate, and initial sweeps of the area were conducted. The initial investigation identified a lone subject. It located an abandoned assault rifle, ammunition, and a vehicle that was located with camping gear and other evidence. After the initial sweep did not locate the subject, a more formal command post was established. The post included federal, state, and local agencies. Commissioner Burnett is going to recognize each of them here today. We are grateful for every single one of them. Your work has been significant. It's been important. and we appreciate each and every agency that's participated. Hundreds of law enforcement officers were at the scene and have participated in the manhunt. KSP used FLIR technology to pick up heat signatures, while ground teams searched parts of the dense forest. Black Hawk helicopters were used to see through the canopy and to get better views. Drone technology was also used, as well as 4 types of canine units. Ground teams were assisted by ATVs and UTVs to help with the search, and to date, I believe the number is 28,000 acres of forest have been searched. During all these activities, cameras were placed across the forest to detect movement. Those are being monitored up to and including today. While the manhunt continued, 2 other missions were being carried out. First, law enforcement was following up and pursuing any local leads about the gunman's location, including any tip that would suggest he was mobile or outside of the forest. The second mission that was occurring was coordination of efforts to increase law enforcement presence in the community, to provide additional safety and assurance to your neighbors, to our citizens, as they work to transition back to day-to-day life. In those efforts, Rockcastle and Whitley County schools have resumed classes with additional local and state law enforcement presence. Many other districts came back today or yesterday. We're working with each of the districts to make sure we can accomplish that same goal. The goal of all of these activities and how we have balanced those missions has always been about what provides the best public safety. In the beginning, the best way to provide safety was to locate most of our assets in the manhunt, hoping to find him to neutralize the threat. As that has become less and less likely over the past several days, our best plan now is to augment law enforcement in this community to where our people are. In other words, as the odds of finding the individual in the forest are less, the deployment of our resources into the community now provides a better public safety outcome, a better deterrent than simply continuing the manhunt at its current levels. So beginning this afternoon, we'll begin transitioning state and local law enforcement agencies from a manhunt to a larger presence in this community and the surrounding communities. The search will continue through the monitoring of cameras and the use of aircraft where available. And again, these groups behind me will continue to follow up all credible leads about his whereabouts and continue to investigate all of them. In other words, all 3 missions will continue. But today we're announcing that we are reallocating resources because we believe it is necessary now to do so to provide for the best safety outcomes for our citizens. The plan is fully supported by myself, Mayor Weddle, Commissioner Burnett, Sheriff Root, and Chief Holland. We stand united in this approach. We know it's the right decision, and our commitment is to protect the people of this region. To our citizens, we have and we will continue to stand with you, to provide the resources to ensure your safety. We will not live our lives in fear. We will move forward together, and yes, we will get through this together. Before I turn it over to Commissioner Burnett, I also want to note that we had tragic news for our Commonwealth that we heard last night when Russell County Sheriff Deputy Josh Phillips was killed in the line of duty. Brittany and I are praying for his family, for all of our law enforcement community, and for the entire Russell County community. It also underscores why this group has been as careful as it can in this search in this forest to make sure that an event and an incident where Joseph Couch was not able to take lives during the Interstate shooting has not resulted in the loss of life in the search. So I want to close by saying I'm very proud of the work that's been done by all these agencies. They've done their best. They have used the best technology that's out there. They brought in every resource, federal, state, and local. But on day 11, we know that bringing the boots on the ground from the forest into the communities is going to give the best reassurance to our citizens that if He's still out there. We are right here with you, where you go to school, where you go to church, in the communities with a significantly enhanced presence, ready to protect our citizens, making the very best decisions we can to ensure their safety. Now I'll turn it over to Commissioner Burnett.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. Today does mark the 11th day of the manhunt for Joseph Couch. I'd like to report that we do not have any specific evidence or any details that has led us any closer to his apprehension at this time. You know, since this manhunt has began, KSP, we've had over 129 sworn and civilian personnel dedicated to this mission. We've also had 13 other agencies. We've had the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We've had the U.S. Marshal Service. We've had the U.S. Forest Service. We've had the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. We've had Laurel County SO, London PD, London Search and Rescue, and other entities, and a lot of support from the communities that has aided Kentucky State Police in this manhunt. You know, even with these other 13, or these other agencies that I've discussed, you know, they've dedicated over 90 personnel as well. So they've been over 230 personnel dedicated to this manhunt and apprehending Mr. Couch. You know, but due to the lack of discoverable evidence out in the Daniel Boone National Forest, with the search area there, we feel like we were best tailor our efforts to move from that search in that area out in our communities and in our local communities as well as surrounding areas. We're going to adjust our posture. The only thing we're doing is reallocating our assets to those. And the reason why is because we've had over 400 tips that have come in for us to follow up on his apprehension. The majority of those are outside of the national forest. So we feel like we'd be better off to protect our communities by moving those personnel. And as the governor said, we have already, with all of our partners in this search, we've searched over 28,000 acres there in the national forest. But now we're planning to move our boots on the ground and our resources out of that area, out into the community, as I said. Not a drawdown. Again, not a drawdown, just reallocation of those assets. You know, this will include moving patrols, increased moving patrols. You'll see troopers, deputies, officers in these areas, searching these roadways in case there's a sighting. We'll also be looking to support our superintendents. We've been in consistent discussion with those superintendents in the area, in the general area. You know, we will help them with increased security at their schools, increased security on bus routes, sporting events, other things. But we've worked with planning for several days with several, and we'll continue to do that as we move forward. We'll also be utilizing troopers from other posts. We'll be using our criminal interdiction team. We'll be using commercial vehicle enforcement officers from regions across the state to be able to come in and to assist with this effort as well. You know, at this point, the best way we can prioritize safety of our families and communities is by this plan that we've had. And we've had consistent discussions with Sheriff, with FBI, and all of our other partners. This is the best plan that we have going forward. We have looked at every possible scenario. We've looked at every piece of equipment, technology that we can utilize. And this, from what we have discovered so far in this search, this is the best plan moving forward. You know, already, you know, with these 400 tips, we look for those to expand. And then we welcome those tips to come in. Please submit those to the KSP for us to be able to follow up on, as well as Laurel County Sheriff's Department and London PD, who is also one of our partners that I failed to mention there earlier. But however, we'll still have resources to be able to rapidly deploy back in the Daniel Boone National Forest. If there's a sighting of Mr. Couch, we will be able to transition and have assets to be able to go and investigate that information that comes in. You know, the safety of our communities is our #1 priority. especially our schools and churches. And with our partnerships that we have with everybody up here on this stage. And this shows the unity, how this is a unified concept going forward. We do feel like we'll be able to bring this to a successful conclusion one day, whatever status that Mr. Couch may be in at this time. But I would like to take a moment to personally thank all of our KSP employees that have donated so much time away from their families, as well as all of our partner agencies. They're the same. You know, they've been there 14, 15, 16 hours a day for this effort. So I'd like to personally thank all of us. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm so pleased with the involvement that we've had with the governor's office. When he was here, he's been here numerous times, and he's used phrases such as one Commonwealth, he's used phrases as Team Kentucky. And folks, I want to tell you, that's exactly what this has been. This is a team effort. This is not one agency, this is not one individual. This has been a team, from dispatchers to animal service to rescue workers to law enforcement. Everyone has contributed, and this, I just really appreciate it more than you guys could ever know. Everyone has worked hand in hand in this. It's been such a pleasure. Everything's went. If I could, people, if you could change anything, could you change anything? No, I think the job has been done. It's been done to perfection, and very pleased with all the assets that we've had. It just really went good. I was thinking this morning, this is, I'm the sheriff here in Laurel County. That's one county. The governor has kept contact with me. He's responsible for 120 counties. It's been a pleasure to work with the governor on behalf of myself and the residents of this county. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I also want to thank my county judge who is in attendance here today. He's kept contact with me and has offered anything that we need as a sheriff's office. It's been a pleasure to work with the judge, and also my friend, the mayor of London here, Randall Webb. These individuals, I feel, have went above and beyond, and they feel the same way I do. It's the residents that we're responsible for, and whatever needs to be done, we've got the okay to go ahead and do it. And I thank you guys for that. Our number one priority has been the safety of our residents since day one, and that will continue to be so until Mr. Couch is apprehended and brought into custody. We will commit our times on apprehension of him. This has been an impact on our county. This is definitely not the normal Laurel County that we're used to. It's been chaotic, there's been fear, a lot of fear, school closings. And with that said, I'll echo, as Commissioner Burnett said, the superintendents in this county, Ms. Griegel, Ms. Jones, it's been a pleasure to work with. They've kept with us. They're very concerned with the children. I spoke with Commissioner Burnett yesterday evening about the ground resources that we've been using, pulling some of our resources out of the woods, and we will increase patrols at the schools, on the bus routes. And also, this is going to be good, as myself and the commissioner talked yesterday, as far as the county. We understand there's a lot of fear. There may be some older people, single mothers or whatever. So you'll see an increase in patrol efforts throughout the county. And I want to thank the commissioner for that, for providing that. Also want to thank each agency that's represented on the stage. I mean, we can stand here and talk about the amount of work and the technology that's utilized, and a lot of people don't understand. But I'm telling you, everyone has went above and beyond. They've been pulled away from their families, and I just personally, as a sheriff here in this county, I want to thank each and every one for what you've done, and it will never be forgotten. I want everyone to know that this is still an open and an active investigation. We will work just as hard continuing down this path as we have from day one. We will not rest until Mr. Couch is brought into custody, and he'll have to face the charges for the things that he's done here in this county. We want to continue to receive tips from the public. The community has just been outstanding. Like I said, over 400 tips. They They've come in county, out of county, but I'm proud to say that each one of those have been followed up, and we do appreciate them, but at this point, it's no avail that we found Mr. Couch. So I want to thank you, and I also want us to remember these victims of this crime. Let's keep them in our prayers, and I want to thank the media. I want to thank you guys for keeping the people informed. And like I say, I want to thank each entity. I just can't praise that enough, the help that we've had in this county. We've called upon them, and they brought every resource they've had. But I want everyone to know that the residents of this county, our number one priority is the safety of the residents and our children in this county. Thank you.
On behalf of the City of London, we just want to thank all the agencies that's been involved in this. You know, even the volunteers that brought food out to the command site. It's been absolutely amazing, the amount of love that has been poured into this county from other counties to other cities. We can't thank them enough. And there is some folks that I would also like to highlight in this. The London Laurel County Rescue Squad that's been doing the mapping service for this entire investigation, Manhunt on the ground. You know, these guys are volunteers, and they've spent long hours helping and assisting them. And, you know, the city is deeply grateful for this squad and all that they do in this community. I would like while we're here, for Assistant Chief Bobby Day to come and talk about the protection of the city, what the city police is doing, and what we expect out of them.
Thank you, Mayor. Guys, my name is Bobby Day. I'm a major with the London Police Department. The London Police Department will continue to support the Kentucky State Police, Laurel County Sheriff's Office with the investigation, as well as any search pursuant to any credible leads or anything we have moving forward. As has already been said here, you know, our department has, as everybody else, have utilized all the equipment we've got, and will continue to utilize any and all resources we have to hopefully bring this to a resolution and to apprehend Couch. Yesterday, myself, along with the state police and the sheriff's office, met with Laurel County school officials, because today was going to start students' first day of in-person training, in-person learning. So we tried to figure out how law enforcement could support that. So one of the things we did as a result today, you saw a strong presence of law enforcement officers on every campus. You'll continue to see saturated patrols on campus, school grounds, as well as bus routes, and anything we can do to help with that. The one thing I wanted to do, and I know that it's already been, we've already bragged on the governor here, but because of the governor, because of House Bill 63, Laurel County has a armed, certified law enforcement officer in every school in this district. That's 18 schools. They not only have one per school, they've got a couple on a couple of the campuses. And we thank you for that, sir, because that's, you know, our schools are a very safe place, especially here in Laurel County. In addition to the schools, we're also doing everything we can to provide extra patrol at daycares, hospitals, residences, businesses. You've got a business, you've got a residence, you want some extra patrol, you can call us, London Police Department, you can call the state police, you can call the sheriff's office. We'd be more than happy to come out and do that. I just extend a thank you to everybody that's already been thanked up here, as opposed to being redundant, but also continue to urge citizens to call London Laurel 911, as well as the Kentucky State Police. You get a lead, you get a tip, by all means, call in, let us know. We'll do our best to follow up on this. These efforts are going to allow us to be able to do more of that and concentrate our efforts and focus more on that as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Jeremy Honecker. I'm not much of a public speaker. I apologize in advance, but I just want to thank everybody that you know, for this part of the Central Kentucky Fugitive Task Force. We've been able to, you know, kind of help out with the investigative efforts and trying to locate Mr. Couch. And as we kind of transfer from the advancing manhunt, that's kind of what we call rapidly advancing manhunt, into the investigative aspect. You know, we're going to continue to provide resources from our Central Kentucky Fugitive Task Force to Laurel County and the state's police, London PD, everyone to try to locate and apprehend Mr. Couch. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
afternoon. My name is Quincy Barnett. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge with the FBI Louisville Field Office located in Louisville, Kentucky. Responsibility over the state of Kentucky with offices throughout the state. I wanted to be noted, and everyone's already expressed gratitude to everyone. Being able to be a part of this investigation as in the team that we were to come together with was a huge benefit. I want to be noted that the FBI, we stand strong, we stand united with our partners, and this was an effort for that. Our London office is the office, the personnel that responded on the 6th, this initiative, right? The FBI, we are here. Although we're transitioning from the Manhunt and those resources, we are moving toward the future investigation. That investigation will remain headed out of our London office here. These people live in this community. They're a part of this community. We all want to continue to work closely with our partners with KSP, with Laurel County as well, and move forward this investigation. And all of the resources of the FBI that have been on display and been utilized up until this point are continue to be available. And FBI, we will follow up on any and all available leads and tips. So thank everyone, thank the partnerships that we've got. I want to thank the community for your trust that you have in us, and I thank everyone for continue to remain vigilant.
All right, to summarize, and then we'll open it up for questions. You've heard the same thing from everyone. The number one goal is public safety. And how to provide that public safety is different on day 1 than on day 11. On day 11, we know that we need to bring our boots on the ground from the forest to our people. And by bringing those boots on the ground to our people and saturating this and the surrounding communities with additional law enforcement, we will give the best security to our people, that they are safe and that they can go about their daily lives, that we don't live in fear, that we move forward, because we got a lot of heroes represented by the agencies that are up here that are going to be in our communities making sure that we're safe. With that, we'll open it up to questions.
Do you believe that there is sort of public safety threat out there that requires all these officers to come back out onto the streets and back out into the community?
Well, we don't have a conclusion. We have an individual that committed a horrific act of evil that tried to kill numerous people. And we have not located him or brought the investigation to a close. And we know that people are scared, and that law enforcement is here for our safety, and when they're around, we feel better because we know they're trained and that they care. And so by bringing the boots on the ground from the forest, where there is now a very low probability that we will discover anything else, to the community, again, we provide the best deterrence, the best safety, and again, the goal is for the community, even with it being kind of scary, to get back to day-to-day life. And the best way we make that transition is a saturation or even an oversaturation of law enforcement, saying we're here, we're going to be here, and we're going to make sure you're safe.
Will all law enforcement now be coming into just the city of London, or what communities will law enforcement be ramping up, as well as will anybody be staying?
So local law enforcement is going to be in their communities. KSP and the other agencies that have broader jurisdictions are working with local law enforcement, with superintendents, with other leaders to make sure we're meeting their needs. It's like the first superintendent we worked with was Rockcastle. They already talked to their local law enforcement and felt good about their campuses, but needed extra help on their bus routes. And so the question there was how we augment, how we come in, where we pull resources to make sure we can cover those bus routes. And so having flexibility and having this many boots on the ground, we can meet the needs of each community that may be just a little bit different.
Governor, Renee, you talked about the plan this morning. How do you feel that it went with the first day going back to school? Are there any tweaks that you think you'll be needing to make?
I was there. Everybody with our department, from the chief down, was at a school or at schools. I thought it went great. We don't have the numbers yet. Well, hopefully, we're trying to get those as far as what the absentee rate was. So we'll have that for you, and hopefully we'll have that soon. But everything went really smooth. You know, we had a lot of parents that I think the state police, the sheriff's office, as well as the the London Police Department, we all, a lot of the parents were very thankful that we were there. But I thought it went very smooth, and it seemed that the normalcy, as was spoken about earlier, seemed to come back in a little bit of normalcy by starting to begin today.
Mr. Commissioner, in those 400 tips that you received, is there some sort of thread in there that you can follow that says, yeah, we need to come out of the forest? Just something affirmative in that?
Well, just the majority of those were in communities kind of in Laurel County and Rockcastle County. They weren't necessarily in the Daniel Boone National Forest. So that's why that what limited information and what we discovered in the forest versus these tips and then where our communities are, that's why we wanted to transition from there and just put more resources in those communities, where those tips come in.
I think previously they were characterized as, not credible tips. Are we now saying that we believe fragments of those? Is that kind of am I understanding that right?
Well, we have both. We've had some that we felt like were credible, and we investigated them. We investigated them to the end, and we turned out that there was no investigative value to those. But we take every tip that comes in as a value until we research it out and investigate it to the end.
Do we still believe he's alive? Are we still looking for him to find him alive? Or, it's been 11 days.
That's a possibility. We are looking either status, whether he's deceased or he's still alive, but we will continue efforts based on what investigative leads and evidence that we have coming.
You talked about camping, I'm sorry.
I just add, thank you, Commissioner, that with the evidence right now, I don't think you can definitively say he's still in the forest, he's outside of the forest, or that he's still alive. And so what do you do when that's the instance? You bring as much of the public safety personnel to the public to make sure that we are prepared, regardless of which of the three of those is true. And remember, the manhunt continues just through different means. The deployment of a lot of cameras should help us detect movement within the forest. If he is still there, aircraft, when available, will still be used. It's just changing the way we're going about that piece and putting more of our sworn personnel, our uniformed law enforcement in the community so that if he's still out there, he knows he shouldn't come anywhere near our people because these fine law enforcement officers are ready.
Governor, is the Daniel Boone National Forest safe for citizens now to visit?
Turn that over to our locals, but I would say at this point, we're still conducting a manhunt in the Daniel Boone National Forest. And I'd ask everybody to be really careful. I don't, this is me personally as a dad, I'm not sure I would want my family camping in that area right now, especially as law enforcement is still there. If your movement is picked up by the cameras, that could trigger a law enforcement response. I would continue to stay out of the area to help with this investigation. Anybody want to add to that? Sheriff agrees, must be right.
Governor, it's been 11 days that this gentleman is out in the wilderness. Does anything indicate that he has some kind of survival instincts? I mean, any survival training or anything, maybe, that he's able to,
I think at this point, there isn't any evidence of special skills. Certainly, some equipment was found in his car and not with him. So again, what we're trying to do with the evidence that does or does not exist is to make sure we're allocating the sworn personnel in the best way to protect our people. This is rugged terrain. If he is still there alive or deceased, the odds of finding him now are so much lower than on day one. And it means that now the best equation, if you will, that gets to public safety about where we put people is to bring them back into the community and have that augmented law enforcement presence.
Are you able to say when the last bit of evidence was found that would indicate he is still alive, or can that not be?
I think that's an ongoing investigation that they continue to follow up on any pieces of evidence.
I mean, this is pretty much the last thing the community wants to hear. They want to hear that the search is narrowing, not getting wider. Why should people feel safe to go back to normal? I know the extra patrols are there, but I mean,
Right.
That's the complete inverse of what people are wanting to hear on day 11.
Well, certainly what people want to hear is the person has been apprehended and the threat's been completely removed. But as the odds of that are lower, I want them to know that we're making good decisions, that we are taking the resources that we have and putting them closer to them. So if you're a member of this community and it's day 11, what I'd tell you is we're going to have more law enforcement around you. than you've seen in a long time. We want you to be able to go back to your day-to-day lives, even though this is not a satisfying resolution, and the investigation continues. But we're doing everything we can through federal, state, and local resources to surround you as much as we can with folks who've dedicated their lives to protecting you. And again, it was scary. It continues to be scary. But sadly, we have scary things that are happening across this country on a regular basis. We can't live our lives in fear, and we believe this is the best step to help members of the community to not have to live their lives in fear.
Governor, one,
Let me do this one, and then I'll come back.
Thank you, Governor. Will the command center remain in the force, or is that being taken out as well?
That, the actual command post there will be removed, but the only thing we're doing, we're just putting investigative assets at our post. They will be at Laurel County SO. We're just basically still have those resources, they're just being brought out from there and then put at the post in those locations. And again, we'll still have a reaction team that we can be able to deploy if we were to have a spotting of Mr. Couch there in that area.
So basically, you're just keeping an eye on the cameras right now, like no law enforcement will remain in the force unless you see something on a camera, then you'll deploy someone in?
Well, we'll still have movement control, saturation control, what we can in those areas. We'll also have our aircraft, whether it be manned and unmanned, as well as surveillance cameras as well. So there's still a multitude of things that we're still investigating and keeping an eye on in the National Forest there in case Mr. Couch is still in that location.
this question's for the governor. Governor, 1 year ago in Pennsylvania, there was a prison escapee by the name of Danilo Cavalcante, and he was out in the woods in Pennsylvania. Border Patrol, BORTAC, used their services and their devices to help capture Cavalcante. Has the state of Kentucky utilized Border Patrol or BORTAC in finding Joseph Couch?
I'll turn that over to the commissioner to answer, but I will say that the amount of different technology that's been brought in by the amount of federal and state agencies, I believe it was the FBI that helped us with the bloodhounds under a contract that we don't have a unit, most states don't. And so we've been able to bring in resources and expertise that aren't directly housed in Kentucky. When you look at the 4 different types of canines, from them to the cadaver dogs to even the digital dogs, the 2 which we have in the state to look for any other phones and other equipment that might be out there. I think the amount of technology, air support, drones, cameras that we brought in have been the height of technology. But for that specific question, I turn it over to the commissioner.
To answer your question, yes, we were in contact with Border Patrol. We did reach out to them, and we went through what scenario that we have here, what actions that we have taken, what resources we have, what equipment we have, what the terrain is, and then talking with their leadership. Once we talked with, basically we've done everything that they would do based on what we were encountering.
How long do you anticipate having these additional resources in the community?
Till we still have credible tips, and we will still be going. We want the community to feel safe, and that's what we're going to do. And we will still, with these moving patrols and whatever information we have, we may have to tailor those areas. But there's no reason for us to be able to change what our current posture is from what we've talked about here today.
I know you
And
mentioned.
let me just add to that. Just like today, we're talking about a reallocation of resources. We'll come forward and talk if there's any change from here. This is day 1 of this reallocation. And so we want to see how many tips come in. We want to see again how the community feels, how we all adapt if we have more information on Mr. Couch as it goes forward. So we'll continue to provide updates, but I can tell you with this reallocation, and it is a reallocation, not a reduction. That's how we're going forward, and if any change is made in those numbers, we'll report it to you.
I know you mentioned Border Patrol. Would you consider help from the National Guard?
We use the National Guard, specifically with Black Hawk helicopters, with also members of the National Guard that had been in combat. In case that was the case, the Black Hawk helicopters were helpful because they could push the dense forest canopy aside, and we could get a better look. I mean, the really sad news last night was that if he's still out there, still armed and wanting to harm people in the forest, it was our law enforcement, our National Guard that was out there. And so The way that they went about this, prioritizing safety of everybody involved, was just so important. And all of their officers, all of their sheriff's deputies, all of their agents are still with us today, having done their very best, but going home to their families. I think it's really important at the end of this, at the very end of this, that the story closes with Joseph Couch not having killed anyone. Sure, he tried. He committed an act of evil. But between our first responders, between law enforcement, we prevented him from succeeding. I think that's important. And be an important example for anyone else who ever considers doing something this evil and this terrible again, that we will do everything we can to stop it. All right, we'll take one more.
Can you tell us what the financial cost of this search has been?
I don't have that yet. A lot of this is using our existing resources and moving them. But we'll see if we can calculate that. But the thing that I've seen around Kentucky is different groups volunteering, wanting to help. And I want to thank all of our federal and other partners that are here, Fish and Wildlife, chipping in as well. When Team Kentucky faces a threat, we all come together. That could be after a tornado, after a flood. It certainly happened after the shooting, from volunteer groups that do their jobs so well to other agencies that say we have the training to help. It's been really special to see how everyone has done their very best. So to close out, we are still here. We're just making sure we're bringing more of our law enforcement to the people to ensure public safety, and we're going to continue until everybody feels safe. We believe everybody is safe. Again, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to make sure we have this reallocation done right to protect this and the surrounding communities. Thank you all very much.
You good to go? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go to the library and look at stuff.
Okay, good deal, thanks. I will see you there.
Let me grab my, I'll come back.
Directly with the office? Yep, okay. And either we'll come to you or you come to us. We're just right down the road. All right. Just take off.
No, you drop it.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I'm gonna grab my tripod. Let me grab my tripod. All right, so we'll talk about this in a second. Let me get my tripod. Looks like they are transitioning to more of an investigative aspect. Give me 1 second while I load this up here. 1 second. JLR investigates. We are out. Slide around here, excuse me. Thank you, sir. So it looks like the governor and the mayor are in the back room having a discussion in the back. Oh yeah, there's the governor. So that was the press conference. What do you guys think?
Part-time, but we're
This is at the community center. Community center's still going on. And the governor's leaving. Thank you, Governor.
Thanks for your coverage.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Governor just thanked me for the coverage.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so outside here, it was raining. Governor is leaving. This is the second time the governor has been here on this. So it's transitioning from being inside, the national forest to now more police presence inside these communities. Like for instance here, London. So the question is Couch alive or not? That is the question. And the governor's off. A lot of law enforcement personnel. Governor also paid respect to the deputy who lost their lives over there in Russell County. We were out there this morning at the scene. So I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna talk a minute. Put this here. All right, JLR investigates, boots on the ground. Laurel County, Kentucky, London. You heard from officials. I guess he was the head of the Kentucky State Police. You heard from the special agent in charge of the FBI in this dealing with this case. You heard from the governor. You heard from the sheriff. Your thoughts, folks? I think they pretty much exhausted their searches in the, as far as like a manhunt in the national forest, and now are just allocating their resources towards a more of a presence inside these communities here within that, within Laurel County. Who knows if it's Rockcastle County, the other surrounding counties. So the manhunt, I would say, it's still going on, right? Still going to go on, but I don't think you're going to see like them like marching out in the forest now looking for him like they have been doing. So just stay vigilant out there. We're going to continue to cover this and see what else develops out of this. But I think officially, you know, as far as the helicopter searches and stuff like that up in the sky, I think that's going to come to an end. I think that's coming again. Well, we'll see. You know, we'll continue to monitor flight radar. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Somebody should have asked the question about the $35,000 reward. Is that still on the table here, dead or alive? What's your thoughts? Where do you think Joseph Couch is? Do you think he managed to escape, or do you think he's out there somewhere? I'll keep you informed. I am here. JLR Investigates. Hit that sub button, like notification button. We'll talk soon. I'll be back in a bit. JLR Investigates. Thanks for watching.